You don't need me to reiterate how challenging we are all finding this period, and emotionally, I know this is taking a toll on you as business leaders. A great deal of frustrations out there and a great deal of unanswered questions at the moment. So one small step that Scottish Business Network is taking through these weekly insights is to help build an understanding of how COVID-19, its impact here and at a global level will affect our economy and businesses globally. By hearing from Scots around the world, we hope to provide you with an insight into what may be needed in terms of recovery and restructuring going forward when the world has, post the world having experienced such a seismic shift. So we want to ensure that we bring you, our community, together here during this time, as well as put a face onto our global diaspora. So hence we'll be running these insights every Tuesday at 2 p.m. I'm going to move over to, I'm moving over to the Netherlands, James, but you're going to share with us a bit more about DMCC. So welcome, James, great to have you online with us. SBN has been connected with DMCC for a period of time now. It'd be great if you can share with us some more details about who you are and who DMCC is, James.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I work for DMCC in Dubai, and we are an economic zone or a free trade zone. So we have around 17,000 companies operational in the zone, and around about 100,000 residents from businesses and people who live there as well. And I've been working in Dubai for 14 years with DMCC now, so I've seen the last recession, the last financial crisis, and how we weathered through that. I know this one's pretty different, but there are some similarities. So yeah, DMCC acts kind of like a sort of company's house, along with maybe a chamber of commerce as well, and does a bit of what you do most excellently at the Scottish Business Network as well, with events and promotions. And we really, any type of business that wants to set up in the region in the UAE can come to our free zone. We do the licensing, registration, visas. There's 0% tax. There's 100% business ownership. A lot of advantages to surround that. And yes, we've done a few I'd say presentations at Scottish Business Week and in London and in Dubai. And London and in Scotland. So. It's great to be back talking to you.
But as a question I asked to everyone, James, if you were in Dubai at the moment looking out the window, and we'll just explain you're actually based in Netherlands at the moment due to the lockdown, but if you were looking out the window in Dubai, what would you be seeing at the moment, James?
Well, I speak to my colleagues on an hour-by-hour basis, so I think if you looked out the window at the moment, you'd see very little activity because Dubai, like Singapore, has gone into a 2-week lockdown where everyone is working from home and can go for supermarket shopping or medical only. So everyone is in their house working, and the city is being disinfected and cleaned pretty much throughout the day and night. So that's what you'd see if you looked out. But of course, as we know from our member companies, there's a lot of businesses trying to position themselves from home as best they can to survive this global economic impact that we're witnessing. So it seems from the outside very quiet, but there's a lot going on in all the houses.
When you say that your businesses, the 17,000 companies that you have, are positioning themselves from home, can you just explain what that would look like? Because you've got a cross-section of companies that you're supporting. How are people approaching this working from home with their agents, their distributor, their connections in Dubai? What approach are they taking?
Well, I think it depends very much on the different sectors. Some are more fortunate than others. We've got a few companies that are really e-commerce based. and they've been doing very well. There's a lot of course, people not being able to leave their house. There's a lot of demand for deliveries, and they're performing well. But other companies who are maybe providing services, as you mentioned earlier, maybe financial services or accounting or lots of these different, say, service providers, they're struggling. Working from home, it has different challenges depending on the size of your company, obviously. But people have to be, I think Fraser was saying, people just have to use this period as a bit of, okay, well, we can't do too much. We're not going to be looking for increasing our existing business. We'll keep talking to existing members and clients, but not be really pushing the staff to do what they would normally do. I think you have to adopt a different routine. You have to be, as was mentioned earlier, you have to be looking for these other sort of maybe information gathering opportunities that are out there. So talking to your clients, seeing how they're doing, maybe learning from them how you can adapt. I know talking to our mutual friend Russell in Scotland, he sort of educates me every time I talk to him, and he's been working with companies to show them how to adapt. And I know some of the things that he was saying was to add value. So maybe it can be as simple as extending your working hours to be convenient for people who are working from home. Maybe open earlier and finish later. Maybe you can look at the products and the services that aren't doing so well and just focus more on those that are actually necessities at this time, and try to find a market that requires that maybe not being serviced. So there are a load of different opportunities, let's say, but of course it's very tough.
Yeah. What is the situation at the moment in Dubai and United Arab Emirates around movement, trade and movements, products, etc.?
Well, the ports are still open, the seaports, and as I was saying, the e-commerce trading is still ongoing. So the warehousing and delivery of products is still happening, and that's the way that most of the supermarkets operate as well. And of course, restaurants, they're still open for delivery services. In terms of companies that are working on sort of maybe more industrial products, it's problematic. I would say people are not maybe taking what they said they would take in terms of short to medium term deliveries. We haven't seen the real sort of feedback on that yet. I would say it's still pretty much early days to see where we're going from here, if it can be contained within the next month to 3 months, or whether we're going to have a longer time required to find vaccines and to control it. And that's globally, not just a sort of Dubai.
Yeah, we heard from Fraser there about the closing down of one of the 3 terminals in Singapore. The ports are still open, as you say, James. Yeah. Has the Dubai government taken any action in the similar regard as Singapore around that movement of trade?
They've been very active and really helping not only businesses but individuals living there. So at the moment, there's very limited entry to Dubai. There are some flights outgoing, so people who want to be repatriated for this period of time can be, but no visitors without good need, which is the sort of what Singapore took on as well, which is, in my view, the right thing to do. So the airport is pretty quiet. The government's also put in place 126 billion dirham, which is 32 billion euros, to support businesses within Dubai, or within the UAE actually, of course with a specific emphasis on SMEs and startups, and to try and strengthen their financial resilience. So they're doing as much as they can. DMCC ourselves, because it's funny, we act as a sort of like a Chamber of Commerce and Companies House, but on the other side, we are a commercial entity as well. So we've slashed our prices. So our prices, our rates for setting up a company has gone down by 50 to 80%, depending on which package you take. And for existing members, because we have 17,000 members, we also have reduced rates, and we have delayed payments, not just rates of licenses, but property rates as well, delayed payments. And everything we do can be done online now. So setting up a company wherever you are in the world can be done. Renewing your company, renewing your visas, anything like that is digitally done through our portal on the web. So,
okay.
Hopefully
so
that's
thank you. So any company who has maybe established themselves through DMCC, we can still operate the visas, the company registration online. There is no physical requirement or documentation other than the online links that you've provided, James.
That's right, yes. And the government's gone as far as also delaying the requirement for visa renewals. So anyone in the country who needs to renew their visa, they're extending the time by which you have to do that by several months. We're also conducting a lot of webinars, Zooms, as we all are, to help people and give them knowledge on how to deal with this situation and what we're doing. We're also trying to, and this will be a conversation I have with you at a slightly later date, to look at how we can look at the Scottish businesses in DMCC and maybe in Scotland as well, and have a made for trade webinar where we talk about Dubai and Scotland and the opportunities. So we keep remaining really active, and we think that's our responsibility to try and help these companies.
For a number of our companies, and we've made a number of key connections around Dubai 2020, and that has now been moved to 2021, James. What advice are you giving around Dubai 2021? The opportunity, we presume, is still there as it was in this current year.
Yeah. Well, you're right that the Expo 2020, the Dubai team has requested the Expo to be in 2021. I'm not sure if it's been 100% accepted yet, because there's a European body of Expo globally that decides, but I think this week it will be decided. Obviously, we were going around the world before talking about Expo 2020, so now we'll go around talking about 2021 virtually for now, and the opportunities there. I believe Scotland has a pavilion that's being built, or maybe even finished.
Yeah.
But a lot of countries do, so it's a really good opportunity to come and to witness it. Myself, it'll be my first expo, so I'm excited just to see what all the noise is about. But I think even the Dubai one will be different from the Italian one and all the ones before it. They're making it a very B2B. It's not really a sort of showcase sort of museum sort of look and feel to it. It's very B2B. They expect business to be done there. They expect people to come there and to meet, to talk business. And even after that, after Expo is finished, after the 6 months, that site will stay and become a zone itself, a real business and education and innovation zone. So I have a lot of material on that I could share with the Scottish Business Network on what it all looks like, what's available, what you can expect if you do come.
That would be great, James, because I know a number of our companies have looked at exploring that opportunity, and thank you for that offer. Just finish off this session, James, just talking about, as I spoke with Fraser, around this continuous intelligence gathering during this period. What key advice would you give to Scottish companies to maintain this global mindset and to support continuous intelligence gathering with businesses and opportunities in your Dubai market, James?
Mm-hmm. Well, I always look at it as I kind of do the reverse. So I'm I'm the sort of business development person at DMCC, so I'm always looking at other markets. So I'm looking at the Scottish market. I'm seeing what businesses are there that would potentially fit into doing business in Dubai and would be interested in setting up a company. We don't want companies just to come to the Middle East and not have a marketplace. So we spend a lot of time doing that. I think it's really important to, if you do find, I know that another topic I was talking to Russell about is companies, when they establish themselves, are not always in the right place. They may be born in a city because that's your city, but they may not be the right start for you. You may be better off in another country to start what your actually service or product is. I think that to actually look at countries that have a good marketplace like Singapore or Dubai, the UAE, the GCC as a whole, to actually make contact with the different entities there, like DMCC, like I know the UKTI, they do a lot of stuff to help businesses, the IOD, the Scottish Business Network, of course, but then to lead into the Chambers of Commerce in Dubai, to really get involved in these online webinars that we're having, and to really sort of see what the existing market is there already for similar products that you may have. I know you and I were talking more about the digital space, and we are always looking at our companies and also the new companies where we're seeing interest from. And even during this time, we're seeing interest from companies that are involved in blockchain, DLT, these types of digital online companies. They are still making a noise. I know some of them are hurting a lot, but some of them have really got into a position where they can still develop during this period. So there's always positivities out there if you look for them.
So blockchain, cryptocurrency was the other one that you raised with me. Any other businesses that you feel, if you're in that market or you have the opportunity to develop into that market sector, that you would be highlighting, James?
I would say that obviously blockchain and crypto are sort of buzzwords these days. Not that everyone needs to be in them, but the sort of digital online space where I think we'll see a lot more companies developing it into. You talk of the existing sort of traditional sectors, but all of those sectors have these pillars which the online sector covers. So you'll have commodity trading. Well, it's physical, but it's digital. You'll have e-commerce, which is whatever products and services, but it's digital. So across all of these, education, you have e-education. Telehealth is one that we have, one of the first companies in the Middle East that set up when the laws changed here for telehealth, and they're doing really well. They've just been, I think they've just been bought by Allianz. So these types of digital crossover through all these different sectors where traditionally they've been broken down a little bit. And I think through this, what we're seeing now in this situation we're in, we'll see a lot more of that and a faster pace of companies developing their digital side. Okay.
James, thank you so much. Is there anything we haven't covered that you were keen to share with our members today?
Not really. I'll just say I'm too enormous supporter of Scotland and love it every time I'm there. So hello to everyone. Feel free to give my details out. Be delighted to talk to anyone and try to help anyone in the network.